This is for entertainment purposes only. I do not own any copyrights to this song. And I am very tired. I thought I did what's right. I thought I had the answers. I thought I chose the surest road, but that road brought me here. So I put up a fight and told you how to help me. Now just when I had given up, the truth is coming clear. For you know better than I. You know the way. I've let go the need to know why. For you know better than I. If this had been a test, I cannot see the reason, but maybe knowing that I don't know is part of getting through. I try to do what's best, and faith has made it easy to see the best thing I can do is put my trust in you. For you know better than I. You know the way. I've let go the need to know why. 'Cause you know better than I. Will you teach me? For you know better than I. You know the way. I've let go the need to know why. I'll take what answers you supply. 'Cause Jesus, you know better than I. You know better than I. Yep, he sure does. He knows better than I. Let's go into some scriptures. We'll start in John chapter 8. I'm going to read about the adulteress woman. Jesus went to the Mount of Olives, and early in the morning he came again into the temple, and all the people came unto him, and he sat down and taught them. And the scribes and the Pharisees brought unto him a woman taken in adultery. And when they had set her in the midst, they say unto him, Master, this woman was taken in adultery in the very act. Now Moses in the law commanded us that such should be stoned. What sayest thou? This they said, tempting him, that they might have an accuse or a way to accuse him. But Jesus stooped down and with his fingers wrote in the ground, as though he heard them not. That's the important part. I actually just learned this today from another gentleman on TikTok. So he stooped down and write in the ground, and for the longest time we didn't know what he was writing. So when they continued asking him, he lifted up himself and said unto them, He that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone at her. And again he stooped down and wrote on the ground. There's actually several points that I want to make to this, but we'll go ahead and go to Jeremiah 17 first. Oh, and we're going to read all of Jeremiah 17 because all of it's very important. But before I forget, my giant made a song for me the other day, and it's awesome. So, intro here.
Mark Smith on the front line, truth in his veins, riding with cricket through the fire and the flames.
I love it. Anyway, Jeremiah 17. The sin of Judah is written with a pen of iron when he put his finger to the ground. Is this what he was doing? I believe so. And with the point of a diamond, it is graven upon the table of their heart and upon the horns of your altars. Talking about their altars, not God's altars, but theirs. Whilst their children remember their altars and their groves by the green trees upon the high hills. O my mountain in the field, I will give thee of thy substance and all thy treasures to the spoil, and thy high places for sin throughout all thy borders. And thou hast, even thyself, shalt discontinue for thine heritage that I gave thee. I will cause thee to serve thy enemies in the land which thou knowest not, for you have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever. Thus saith the Lord, Cursed be the man that trusts in man, and makes flesh his arm, and whose heart departs from the Lord. For he shall be like the heath in the desert, and shall not see who good or when good comes, but shall inhabit the parched places in the wilderness, in a salt land and not inhabited. Blessed is the man that trusts in the Lord, and whose hope is in the Lord. For he shall be as a tree planted by the waters, that spread out her roots by the river, and shall not see when heat comes. But her leaf shall be green, and shall not be careful in the year of drought, neither shall cease from the yielding fruit. That sounds like Psalms chapter 1. The heart is deceitful above all things, and desperately wicked. Who can know it? I, the Lord, search the heart. I try the reins, even to give every man according to his way and according to the fruit of his doings. As the partridge sets on eggs and hatches them not, so he that gets riches, and not by right, shall leave them in the midst of his days, and at his end shall be a fool. A glorious high throne from the beginning is the place of our sanctuary. O Lord, the hope of Israel, all that forsake thee shall be ashamed, and they that depart from me shall be written in the earth. Because they have forsaken the Lord, the fountain of living waters. Heal me, O Lord, and I shall be healed. Save me, and I shall be saved, for thou art my praise. Behold, they say unto me, Where is the word of the Lord? Let it come now. As for me, I have not hastened from being a pastor to follow thee, neither have I desired the woeful day. Thou knowest that which came out of my lips was right before thee. Be not a terror unto me. Thou art my hope in the day of evil. Let them be confounded that persecute me, but let not me be confounded. Let them be dismayed, but let not me be dismayed. Bring upon them the day of evil, and destroy them with double destruction. Remember the whore of Babylon, Revelation 18? Double her portion. Thus saith the Lord unto me, Go and stand in the gate of the children of the people, whereby the kings of Judah come in, and by the which they go out, and in all the gates of Jerusalem. And say unto them, Hear ye the word of the Lord, you kings of Judah, and all of Judah, and all the inhabitants of Jerusalem that enter in by these gates. Thus saith the Lord, Take heed to yourselves, and bear no burden on the Sabbath day, nor bring it by the gates of Jerusalem. Neither carry forth a burden out of your houses on the Sabbath day, neither do any works, but hallow you the Sabbath day, as I commanded your fathers. But they obeyed me not, neither inclined their ear, but made their neck stiff, that they might not hear nor receive instruction. And it shall come to pass, if you diligently hearken unto me, saith the Lord, to bring no burden through the gates of this city on the Sabbath day, but hallow the Sabbath day, to do no works therein. Then shall there enter into the gates of this city kings and princes, sitting upon the throne of David, riding in chariots and on horses, they and their princes, the men of Judah, the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and this city shall remain forever. They shall come from the cities of Judah, and from the places about Jerusalem, and from the land of Benjamin, and from the plain, and from the mountains, and from the south, bringing burnt offerings and sacrifices, meat offerings and incense, and bringing sacrifices of praise unto the house of the Lord. But if you will not hearken unto me, and hallow the Sabbath, and not to bear a burden, even entering into at the gates of Jerusalem on the Sabbath day, then I will kindle a fire in the gates thereof, and it shall devour the palaces of Jerusalem, and it shall not be quenched. A pen of iron. Now, I don't believe he wrote all of this in the dirt, but I believe he wrote enough to get their attention. Just as in Matthew and Mark, it says, my God, why have you forsaken me? That takes us to Psalms 22. And here in John, when he wrote on the dirt, what if this was what he was writing? He spoke of Judah and Benjamin, the two tribes that take up the majority of Israel today. Now we'll go to Jeremiah 17, verses 4 and 5. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not, for you have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever. Thus saith the Lord, Cursed be the man that trusts in man, and makes flesh his arm, and whose heart departed from the Lord. That takes us to Hosea. And what is the story of Hosea? Let's start in chapter 2. Say you unto your brethren, Ami, and to your sisters, Rahama. Plead with your mothers, plead, for she is not my wife, neither am I her husband. Let her therefore put away her whoredoms out of her sight, and her adulteries from her breast, lest I strip her naked, and set her as in the day that she was born, and make her a wilderness, and set her like a dry land, and slay her with thirst. Remember Jeremiah? The scriptures that we just read, depart from the Lord, for those that trust in man. What has Israel done? They go after their own righteousness, according to Romans chapter 10. They go after an earthly kingdom, when in John's gospel, Jesus says that this kingdom is not of this world, that his kingdom is not of this world. Because Israel has whored around just as another country, in which we know very well, has brought in other gods. Greek Empire served many gods, and the Roman Empire adopted or adapted their beliefs into their systems, into their way of life. And today in America, we have Greek democracy and Roman Republic. Revelation 18 says that this whore will be destroyed in 1 hour. And in Jeremiah, it says in Jeremiah 47 that you will see her nakedness as well. Let's continue on in chapter 2 of Hosea. We'll go now to verse 4 onward. I will not have mercy upon her children, for they be the children of whoredoms. For their mother hath played the harlot. She that hath conceived them hath done shamefully. For she said, I will go after my lovers, that give me bread, and my water, my wool, my flax, mine oil, and my drink. Who has provided for Israel? America. Therefore, behold, I will hedge up the way with thorns, and make a wall, that she shall not find her paths. And she shall follow after her lovers, but she shall be overtaken. She shall not overtake them. She shall seek them, but shall not find them. Then shall she say, I will go and return to my first husband, for then was it better with me than now. For she did not know that I gave her corn, wine, and oil, and multiplied her silver and gold, which they prepared for Baal. Therefore will I return and take away my corn in the time thereof, and my wine in the season thereof, and will recover my wool and my flax given to cover her nakedness. And now will I discover her lewdness in the sight of her lovers, and none shall deliver her out of my hand. Revelation 18, starting in verse 1, and after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. Sounds like Daniel chapter 12. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations, not some, but all nations, have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth had committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth were waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her sins, and that you receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquity. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double her cup unto her double according to her works, and the cup which she hath filled, fill to her double. How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she said in her heart, I sit as a queen, and I am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Lord God who judges her. Hosea chapter 2 verse 9, Therefore will I return and take away my corn in the time thereof, my wine in the season thereof, and will recover my wool and my flax given to her to cover her nakedness. And now will I discover her lewdness in the sight of her lovers, and none shall deliver her out of my hand. Jeremiah 47. Or I'm sorry, I said that earlier. I meant Isaiah 47. The nakedness of Babylon. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There's no throne. O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Now hang on a minute. Let's read this verse again. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne. O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. It says there is no throne. Let's go to Revelation 17, starting in verse 12. The 10 horns which thou sawest are the 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as of yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. These have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them. For he is the Lord of lords, the King of kings. They that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. That's us. That's the bride. But going on into verse 15, and he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sits, are peoples, multitudes, nations, and tongues. The 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. For God hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree, and give their kingdom unto the beast, till the words of God shall be fulfilled. And the woman which thou sawest in that great city, which reigned over the kings of the earth. Isaiah 47, starting in verse 1, come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne. Going down to verse 2, take the millstone and grind meal. Uncover thy locks, make bare the leg. Uncover the thigh. Pass over the rivers. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered. Yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. As for our Redeemer, the Lord of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Israel. Sit thou silent, get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called the Lady of Kingdoms. The woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigned over the kings of the earth. Verse 6 of Isaiah 47, I was wroth with my people. I have polluted mine inheritance, and given them into thine hands. Thou didst show them no mercy upon the ancient. Hast thou very heavy laden thy yoke? And thou said, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither did thy remember the latter end of it. Therefore hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures, that dwell carelessly, that saith in their hearts, I am and none else beside me, I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. That's verse 8 of Isaiah 47. And in Revelation 18, verse 7, how much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously. So much torment and sorrow give her. For she said in her heart, I sit as a queen and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Isaiah 47 verse 8. Therefore hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures, that dwell carelessly, that saith in thine heart, I am and none else beside me, I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. I sit as a queen, and am no more a widow, and shall not see any sorrow. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine. She shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord God who judges her. For the lukewarm, they're told in Mark's Gospel, chapter 13, pray that their flight not be in the winter. Winter's coming. And it's not figurative. Speaking of nuclear winter. Isaiah 47, now going into verse 9. But these two things shall come to thee in a moment. In one day the loss of children and widowhood, they shall come upon thee in their perfection. For the multitude of thy sorceries, and for the great abundance of thine enchantments. Revelation 18, verse 23. And the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee, and the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For thy merchants were the great men of earth, for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. Pharmaceuticals. Isaiah 47, verse 10, For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness. Thou hast said, None sees me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it hath perverted thee. And thou hast said in thy heart, I am, and none else beside me. Therefore shall evil come upon thee. Thou shalt not know from whence it rises, and mischief shall fall upon thee. Thou shalt not be able to put it off. And desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. Stand now with thine enchantments, and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be thou shalt be able to profit, if so be thou mayest prevail. Thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsel. Let now the astrologers and the stargazers and the monthly protagonists stand up and save thee from these things that thou shalt come upon thee. Behold, they shall be as stubble, the fire shall burn them. They shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame. There shall not be a coal to warm at, nor fire to sit before it. Must be because it's so cold in the nuclear winter. Thus shall they be unto thee, with whom thou hast labored, even thy merchants from thy youth. They shall wander every one to his quarter. None shall save thee. We see God's wrath is mentioned in Romans chapter 1, and he explained why his wrath is poured out in Romans chapter 1. But this, in John's gospel, is for the world. So even still, he's showing grace and mercy to the whores of this world. All kingdoms will fall. Luke says, every kingdom that is divided against itself shall not stand, and shall see utter destruction. Well, China's got a lot of Christians in it. They probably don't agree with their kings of this world. So when God removes them, there's your whore. America, when God removes us, there's your whore. Israel, when God removes the Messianic Jews, there's your whore. And everyone else that is left behind during the time of tribulation, besides the lukewarm who will become tribulation saints, besides the 144,000 Jews that will go out and see great revival, Revelation 7, massive revival, more so than Billy Graham and anybody else has ever seen in today's time. So much so that they could not be numbered. John chapter 8 says the whore will be forgiven. He wrote in the dirt, possibly reminding them of Jeremiah 17. And that took us on a massive trip, didn't it? Going now into John 8, verse 7. So when they continued asking him, he lifted up himself and said unto them, He that is without sin among you, let him cast the first stone at her. Well, we know that they will all be full of sin, but is it Zephaniah or Zechariah that speaks of the scroll or the flying roll? It's a massive stone that they're going to get ready to cast on the whore. And again he stooped down and wrote in the ground. And they which heard it, being convicted by their own conscience, not by his, by their own conscience, went out one by one, beginning at the eldest, even unto the last. And Jesus was left alone, and the woman standing in the midst. The whore standing in the midst. When Jesus had lifted up himself, and saw none but the woman, he said unto her, Woman, where are thine accusers? Hath no man condemned thee? She said, No man, Lord. And Jesus said unto her, Neither do I condemn thee. Go and sin no more. The tribulation saints that will go out causing great revival, they'll be forgiven. Obviously. Mark 16 confirms it. And the Jews will be forgiven. Not all, but most. Obviously. Matthew 28 confirms it. When they accept his name, which they haven't done yet. And this is just a thought, by the way, guys. I could be wrong on all of this. But what if Revelation 16 verse 18, there were voices, thunders, and lightnings, and there was a great earthquake, such as was not since it were men upon the earth. So mighty an earthquake, so great. We know that's our rapture. And the great city was divided into three parts, and the cities of the nations fell, and great Babylon came into remembrance before God to give unto her the cup of the wine of the fierceness of his wrath. Which actually takes us into Revelation 18. Every island fled away, and the mountains were not found. And there fell upon men a great hail out of heaven, every stone about the weight of a talent. And men blasphemed God because of the plague of the hail. For the plague thereof was exceeding great. What if the hail, H-A-I-L, was actually nuclear bombs or EMPs? I could be wrong. I'm just thinking. Instead of stone, about the size of a talent. And the men blasphemed God. Anyways. Love you guys.